are, Matthew Rohrbach, with us here as we get ready for Warner tonight. We'll talk about the Monarchs in a little bit. Wow, Matthew, what a game Saturday night. You had to be there in person. I hope you folks listening online, if you have a chance, come see these nights in person. TV does not do them justice, but Matthew, I was blown away. Great job. It was just amazing.
Yeah, shoot, it was a lot of fun. And couldn't be more proud of the guys for their mindset going into the game, and they really showed out. Like you said, you got to come watch us in person. We try to talk about how we're ideally the best show in town, and I feel like we tried to live up to that Saturday night.
Oh, did you ever? Oh, did you ever? I was man. I didn't even have words to describe it. Flawless was one of them. Matthew, that you seemed flawless, and it wasn't like White River wasn't playing well. Joe Seiler got his points. You were just a superior team that night.
Yeah, it's funny. We actually talked about in the locker room. We don't really care who the best player is going to be tonight, and especially talking about how good of a player Joe is, and the better team's going to win. And I felt like we really kind of embodied that. And, we took on the challenge. Joe started hot really early and had to go. And he had 24 in the first half. And I didn't really feel like we were necessarily playing bad defense on him. He just really showed, the D1 level player that he is. But our guys just kept their cool, and, they made plays, and, we found a way to win at the end.
Well, I wasn't shocked you won or were going to win. And it was evident to me. Did you get the feeling, Matthew, early in the ballgame? I remember the timeout you called, and you came out on the court near midcourt, and you were fired up, and you guys were rolling. Did you sense that, wow, this is one of those games that we're just going to keep it up?
Yeah, we definitely felt that somewhat. The guys we kind of felt like we had a really good, niche on how White River wanted to play defense against us. And we felt like we could kind of exploit some of the areas that they gave us. And just, credit to the guys for staying disciplined and making sure that they're attacking in the right areas. But, yeah, some of those timeouts were a lot of fun because sometimes when you go to a timeout, you got to sit there and talk about certain plays or certain things like that maybe they're forgetting. Well, they were on point all night, so we were able to just kind of have more of a gassed up huddle where guys are just, in each other's faces, keeping the excitement level up, and the benches talking to our guys, saying don't let up, smell blood, stuff like that. So it was definitely a special group to be a part of, and me and Coach Becker couldn't have had more fun. More fun there Saturday night.
Well, it had to be the most fun you've had. Coaching, being behind the scenes coaching, being a player, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's a select few games from a fan standpoint as well as coach and player that really stand out in the minds of like average Christian Knights. The first would be my brother's senior year when they beat Warner, of course, in the at Ron College to get to state for the first time, and then. That was just kind of a breakthrough moment for every Christian. And then obviously going to the state championship game, beating Del Rapids St. Mary's the year after. And then honestly, just this game was just huge. It kind of sometimes in the past regular season games, we haven't maybe won some of these bigger games against a number one or a number two. And to get that done just felt really incredible. And we talked about being the best team going into the game, and we really truly believe that we are now.
You showed it. The polls, we're recording this earlier, and I don't have them out yet, but I know what they're going to say. But I'm curious to see when they come out. DeSmit or White River was getting 16 of the 18 first place votes. I'm curious to see how that's going to flip. There's nobody could come away from that game, and I know the reporters were flocking you after the game and go, "Well, I'm not sure." You're sure now, boy. That's a no-brainer. Who's number one there?
Yeah, we definitely won all 18. This is a confident, prideful group. We're going to stay humble and continue to work as it's only 10 games into the year. But they wanted that number one seed, and they I felt like they had really come into the game and had earned it in practice, and they want to stay on top as well as get on top. And so I know the kids want the 18 first place votes, and I can't say I don't as well.
No doubt, There's something about this team and the past year's teams, but there's something different about this team. And, we go back to Oaks. You're at the arena, great place to play. You can hear a pin drop, and I really encourage people to come out on a Saturday and watch this club. We may not see a club like this for a long, long time in the area. So, but this club, it seems like you're made for the big stage. They just drool over that. When they're there, they're comfortable. They love it. They love the challenge. They love the atmosphere, and they don't get nervous.
Yeah, we kind of have a few sayings that go around this team, and when the lights are the brightest, you either need to perform or you need to sit on the bench, and I felt like everybody embodied that motto of if I'm going to be out there, I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to either bring it from an effort standpoint or a leadership talking communication standpoint, or I'm going to absolutely hit shots or I'm going to make the right decisions, getting teammates open. And I mean, basketball is a team game. There's 5 people on the floor for a reason. And I think that's what makes it so special is you can absolutely dominate and maybe only score 5 points. Like Andrew Brendan and Caden Clark, maybe they don't show up hugely in the stat column, but my goodness, I mean, if you watch the game from even an unbiased standpoint, you see their prints on the whole game.
Oh yeah.
And the 13 minutes that we got from Connor and Joey were huge, because for Jackson Isaacson to only have to play 25 minutes is huge, just because he provides something that the other kids don't necessarily provide, in the sense that he's the best flasher on the team and things like that. And he's such a capable scorer, and being able to get in breaks because he was guarding a Joe or an Optal or somebody like that is huge. And so I just couldn't be more proud of the depth and the way that we play basketball and we communicate to each other. I mean, this group truly does love each other, and I try to tell them every single day that, hey, we're still chasing greatness, and we're still chasing the state championship, and we're kind of chasing Andrew's team a little bit, from his senior year. We want to try to be better than that team, because that was kind of the gold standard so far.
Yeah.
And this year they've had something to say about that. They always say we're the best team that Everett Christian's ever had, and I want that mentality of the guys to really kind of keep pushing them forward.
And they will be, in my opinion, if they keep doing what they did. Now you got to keep your finger on it. All of the emotion is done now for Saturday, at least right after that game. How hard is it for you to make sure that they don't let off the gas?
I think in some ways that's going to be pretty easy, because we are a senior-led group, and we understand that there's no do-overs, and especially with being the first-year head coach. I mean, you can't take anything for granted. It's just, this is great, this is fun right now, but we haven't accomplished what our main goal is. And we said, winning the conference is obviously great, and winning all these basketball games and being number one in the polls is all great, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't get to the state tournament and the state championship and get it done. So, it doesn't mean a thing without the ring is a good saying, in my opinion, and that's really our focus point. And with hopefully 16 games left in the year, there's a lot of basketball to be played, and it might sound crazy, but because I know we scored 87 points, but we watched the film back, and there's still things that we're working on with the guys, trying to correct, and little techniques defensively, offensively here and there, and I think having that mindset, never settling, never wavering, is going to get us to that point.
All right, keep them rolling. I would continue, but we're about flat out of time. Quickly here, the media flocked after the game. You guys didn't get out of the locker room exactly right away. How was that? How did you handle that? I mean, you had cameras in your faces and pencils in your faces.
Yeah, I think in some ways all I do is think about what we talk about as a group. What I talk about with my senior captains and leaders every single day, what me and Coach Becker talk about as a staff. What the kids say to each other in the locker rooms, what we talk about in the locker rooms. So in some ways, a lot of it's just, verbatim or repertoire versus, what I tell the guys and what, I tell the cameras is essentially the same thing. And so I kind of just was more or less thinking of the guys when I was speaking to them. And, it was fun, but I was really excited just to go kind of celebrate with the guys just because it was such a big win.
Got to let you run. Good luck. Warner's Warner. We know the deal. Keep it rolling tonight. That'll be a tough test again here in Warner. Tough atmosphere.
Yeah, they're going to bring it. And last time we were here, we didn't get it done. So we definitely want to get the seniors a win here at Warner. for the first time.
All right. Good luck, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
All right, welcome into Warner. Rob Waltman, Dave Palmer, executive producer Talmadge Econger, behind the camera, mini producer in Warner for a Lake Region Conference basketball game. Warner Monarchs and the undefeated number 1 rated Aberdeen Christian Knights. Dave, welcome in. What an exciting weekend, huh?
Oh wow! What a fun time we had Saturday night and Thursday
We're all
night.
giddy yet.
Thursday night as well. I
Yeah.
mean, and Matt, I'm watching Coach Rohrbach here, and he's trying everything he can to not be smiling ear to ear.
Yeah.
I mean, he was under a lot of pressure Saturday, and he was exasperated. When I saw him after the game, he was just shot, and he's recovered. He's ready to go.
We talked about the polls as our pregame was pre-recorded at the time. Right when I got done with Matthew, the polls came out. They got all first-place votes, Dave. They got them all.
Yeah, and
Yep.
why wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah.
You beat the number 1 perennial powerhouse in this state by 20 points.
Let's go to the starting lineups, and the Knights start the same way they've always started here with Andrew Brennan, Jackson Isaacson, Ethan Russell, Malik Weaker, and Caden Clark down inside. A drubbing of White River in the Corn Palace on Saturday. Here we are back to Lake Region Conference basketball. The Knights come in 10-0, number 1 again. It'd be interesting to go back. When was the last time they were number 1? I remember it going into the COVID year with Andrew Rohrbach. They were number 1 going into the state tournament. Was that the last time, Dave?
I'm sure it was. They won a game in that Dakota State or DWU Classic, and I think D. Smith lost that day, and so they kind of flip-flopped. Christian went to number 1, and they were getting better and better as they went, but they really finished the year strong. And as Matt said in your pregame, it was pretty obvious they were the number 1 team in the state.
Starters for Warner: Levi Saponiak, senior forward, 6'4". Brody Sauerwein, junior, 6'4". Hunter Kramer, 6 foot. Noah Fishback is a 6'3" senior. And inside, Ashton Schukart, 6'2", and he's senior. They do have a little length. They have some size, Dave. We don't want to overlook this by any means. Look at the banners in this gymnasium. They are the Warner Monarchs. Hunter Kramer is a guy capable of going off for 30-plus, isn't he?
He is, and you don't have a group of kids that make it to the state championship football playoffs and not have some great athletes. So they're well coached. This is going to be a fight. Like, Christian and Warner really have kind of established a rivalry, in Christian's short time of 15-year history, and this is one of those games that throw that number 1 thing out the window. If anything, it puts a target on your back.
Absolutely. Can the Knights shoot 71% as they did in the Corn Palace? 35 of 49 that night, that special night. Malik was 12 of 15, notching 29 points to match up with Seiler's 43 points. And the tip is up and 1. We're off and running here in Warner. Christian Knights have it. Weaker takes it down to the sideline, left side. Gives off to Brennan. First possession here tonight. Russell with a strong drive, using high arch and hits for his first deuce. He had 23 on 8 of 14 shooting down at the Corn Palace. How will the Monarchs attack this club?
Kramer is such a good penetrator, so you look for him to take it to the hole, but we also have an awesome man-up D-man in Jackson Isaacson, so look for that matchup tonight.
Fishback baseline left long, picked up by Schukart, and now a 3 on the way that misses everything by Hunter Kramer, and the rebound by Aberdeen Christian. So 0 for 2 to start it off. Russell has an open look, deep right corner, and it won't go, and the rebound underneath the battle out of bounds. And I believe it's going to go back to the Monarchs, and it will. So 2-0 a minute in here in Warner.
I think they're going to call a foul on Clark there.
Caden with his first, yes. Jackson shot 6 of 9 at the Corn Palace and 14 points.
You said, are the Knights going to shoot 70%? Probably not, but if they just shoot what they normally do, which is 53% as a team, that's outstanding.
That's still off the
charts. 53% is outstanding.
Here's Russell with a steal at midcourt, cannot save it. Goes out of bounds back to the Monarchs. Big game tonight to Smith and Castlewood. Castlewood falling out of the top 5 in the latest poll today, but they have DeSmit tonight, both 9 and 2. And Ethan moves into number 5, replacing Castlewood in the top 5 here in South Dakota basketball. Also Northwestern couple of losses in a row. They are on Groton on the road, Class A. That's a tough one. Boy, they're going to have a tough time trying to snap that losing streak tonight. Deep three taken by Sauerwein. Hits it, and they have the lead. 3-2. Weaker comes around a high screen, sends it over to Jackson. He wants to drive right down the lane, attacks and hits right off the glass.
Boy, that's what he's been doing. He has been so good taking the ball to the hole inside the free throw line there.
4-3. Aberdeen Christian in front. Around a screen is Sauerwein. Runs into Russell. Throws it back out for another three. Short on the rim. Won't bite by Saponiak. Offensive rebound underneath by Sauerwein. And he throws it off a Christian player. Stays with the Monarchs underneath. Just a 1-point advantage. Talk about the Corn Palace and stay with us at halftime. Me and Dave will expand upon that a little bit at halftime for about 10 minutes. About what happened on Saturday. Just historic. What happened Saturday was flawless. Something to see. You had to be there. And here the Knights are back in action. Warner underneath with the basketball. 2 minutes into this contest. Hunter Kramer looking for a shot. Shoots over a double team. Tough shot. Alter. And it falls in.
Boy, that's what we saw Saturday, and Joe Seiler just made things happen. That was similar. Just couldn't do anything better on defense, and it rattled in.
1 point Monarch lead. Brennan probing, driving, lost the basketball, picks it right back up. Throws it out to Jackson. Caden posting, gets it right back to Brennan. Shot at 19, Brennan driving. Ethan, second shot in that same spot, this one long. And the rebound by Kramer, and a whistle and a foul as Jackson was in the vicinity. And down goes Kramer. But he'll be back up. Drew Bakeberg checks in, 5'11", sophomore for Warner. Joey and Connor checking in for the Knights. 3 minutes into this contest, Lake Region basketball.
You know, the Knights bring a couple subs in and they get bigger.
They know it. Isn't it crazy? 6'5" and 6'4".
And you put a fresh guy on Kramer, Connor really is a great defender.
Trapping by the Knights. They're so good on the doubles and help, aren't they?
They got him in trouble here right now.
Alec got punched in the eye a little bit. Timeout taken. Warner possession when we come back. 17 on the shot clock here. Streaming on Hub City Radio. Got poked in the eye, Dave. You can see he's really wincing on the left side.
He did there when Jackson fouled him down on that baseline line high in the air going for that board.
Region 1B battle. Monarchs are in fourth place right now. Northwestern second. Leola Frederick in third. And the Christian Knights, of course, out in front. Bakeberg, a three. Man off the bench, cashing in from the corner in an early 4-point lead here in Warner. Isaacson to Weaker. He'll drive. Feed back out. Jackson. Wide open three on its way. Short on the rim. No good. Rebound. Joey underneath. Muscles it back up. And he's fouled for a 3-point play. Off the bench. Points immediately.
Joey took contact right away just as he left his feet, and he still powered up strong and finished there.
Joey runs 200 and what? 10, 15. He's really solidly built. At 6 foot what, Dave? 4? 3?
Yeah, 6'3", 6'4".
Yes.
Joey played center for the Roncalli football team, and I mean he's an interior lineman.
Free throw no good, and Kramer trying to get something to go. Now Furman's going to pick him up. They quickly double. Joey comes out. Now backs off. Into the corner they go. Sauerwein, he'll drive, ball loose.
Really nice defense. Man came over and helped on that double. Cut the baseline off. Next man rotated down, and Knights forced a turnover. Nice defense.
Abe Holscher is back in. Just a little tighter, Dave. Abe Holscher has checked in, for the first time tonight. Midway through first quarter play. He's a senior. Was down here in the Warner program and has been up in the Christian program now last couple of years. Weaker from 15, good.
Points have been hard to come by, and Malik's kind of the leader. It's time for him to step up and get things going, and he did there. Nice pull-up jumper.
Ties this at 8 in this first. 3 again. Sauerwein off the back heel. No. Joey and Abe battling for the rebound. Abe takes it away from Joey. And here comes Malik again. Hesitating, driving, feeding.
Nice
no look
pass.
to Ethan Russell. Wow.
Nice pass by Malik Weaker.
4 points for Ethan and another Weaker assist. And their first lead since a couple of minutes ago, 10-8. Inside, ball slapped away. Abe Holscher on the run, on the loose. Nobody there, and Abe takes it up for a finger roll off the glass.
Nice hustle.
The steal and the bucket by Abe Holscher, and you love to see that. Suddenly a 4-point lead, 2:53 to go in the first quarter. Doubles again come for Kramer. He hops his way to the rim through another double, and a whistle blows. Ethan Russell was there. They're going to get who? Ethan or Connor Furman on that foul. So in comes Caden, Brennan, Jackson, Joey, Ethan, and Abe come out. 12-8 our score here in Warner. Aberdeen Christian here leading. Warner basketball, fresh shot clock, they inbound. Back door, pick and screen, shot there, shot missed by Saponiak and rebounded by Jackson.
Knights are going to run. They're going to put pressure on you.
87 points on Saturday night. Not a school record if you're interested. Weaker, step back, no. School record 96 or 7 back in the day. But it's been a long time since they've been in the 80s. They did put 81 on Potter County a week and a half ago, but that's Potter County. Here's a steal by Weaker. Right to left behind his back, feeding Brennan, feeding Connor. Unselfish play there. Wow.
That is as sweet as it gets. Unselfish play is right. Andrew Brennan could have had a layup, and he put it ahead to the big man for an easy 2. That's why you shoot so high percentage shots.
They're shooting it again tonight. 14-8, timeout on the court as we pause here on Hub City Radio. Go in the first quarter. Rob Waltman, Dave Palmer, courtside in Warner.
Pay attention out of a timeout here, Rob.
Yes.
See what Matt dials up and jumping in something different here.
They executed everything out of the timeouts.
There you go.
And here's Caden with nearly a steal.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I talk too much.
No, you're fine, man.
I've been so impressed by Coach Rohrbach. He uses an opportunity to get his club in a huddle. He does something different. Every time coming out, he'll run a set play, switch defenses, he'll do something. You just know, and he can't sit still. There he is down on the baseline, coaching him up.
Yep, very good point. Good insight to Matthew on the bench. Hunter Kramer, just a bucket here in the first quarter. Sauerwein feeds it up top to Peyton Volk. He's new to the ball game. He is a sophomore, 5'11". Has it, wants the shot. Brennan is on him. Gives it off. Sauerwein. Caden Clark comes out and defends. Shot clock at 3. There's the defense. Blocked by Clark and the shot clock violation.
We keep bringing up White River, but Christian forced White River into a shot clock violation. I wonder if that's ever happened to them before.
Wow. Be very rare, wouldn't it?
Christian just D's you up.
They do. 1:33 to go in the first. 14-8 Aberdeen Christian. Zone defense, Dave?
Yep. Something different. Got to try something different.
They'll attack it here. Russell, he's third in that corner. That one's way off, no good. And the rebound by Volk. So he's 0 for 3 in the right corner tonight. He was red hot at the Corn Palace. Driving is Sauerwein up to Volk. Wide open 3, won't go. Rebound by Warner. Bakeberg. Malik hounding in the corner. He has nowhere to go.
In the trouble.
He was. Oh. Shot clock rolling. Game clock under a minute here in the first. Another 3 given, another 3 taken. Sauerwein, they're way off from long range. Offensive rebound again here by Warner. Well, a 3 here makes it interesting late in the first quarter for sure. They'll take another one. Sauerwein deep in the corner, knocks it in. He's got 2, Dave. He's got 2 here in the first quarter.
Warner has some shooters.
Jackson driving, offensive foul, and now a chance for Warner, Dave, to tie this game at the end of 1. They can use the whole clock.
Yep. Boy, those offensive rebounds are going to give Coach Rohrbach something to talk about to his team about.
Absolutely,
because cannot give a team 3 chances.
No, we saw a lot of, when they're shooting the long 3 and they come out long, that's one thing, and maybe a little of that is happening right now. So let's see what Warner will do. Will they shoot the 3? Sauerwein's got 3, 2 here in the quarter. He had the basketball, gives it up.
It'd be smart to go for 1 shot and not let Christian have another opportunity.
Yeah, you would think. Kramer, just a bucket in the corner. 16 left, ticking here in the first. Sauerwein wanting to set the screen for Kramer. Furman defending. Here comes Kramer, doesn't want to give it up. He hops inside, blocked by Russell, taken back by Malik
Plenty
Weaker.
of time.
5 seconds to go. Weaker's on the run. Weaker attacks, throws it up, and he gets it. And a chance at a 3-point play. Or do they call offensive foul here, Dave?
The guy was riding him the whole way down, had his hand on him, and if you're going to call a foul that late into it before the shot, call it at half court.
So no foul or no shot before the shot, and here is the inbound. 2 seconds to go here in the quarter. Brennan will have to take it. Long
Bingo.
3, nothing but net. He just stuck one from the left corner. 6-point lead after 1. And what a shot by Andrew Brennan. Come on back.
Nice catch and shoot.
Second quarter awaits us here in Warner from HubCityRadio.com. 17-11, Aberdeen Christian. Was getting after him in the huddle. I mean, really getting him after him.
I told you when the game started, he was trying to hide a smile, and he is not smiling anymore. It's time to get after these guys, and you can't take your conference rival for granted.
3 threes in the quarter by Warner. 17-11 our score. Here's another 3 wide open by Bakeberg. No good.
Rebounding's been the issue, too.
Right there. Kramer takes a 17-footer air ball. Malik upstairs collecting the loose change, and here he comes. Just want to settle into a good possession here, don't they?
Warner was in his zone the last time, so they're going to have to do something different. They've got 2 bigs in the game. Probably go to some kind of high-low attack here.
Malik driving into the zone, goes reverse, feeding Russell.
Nice.
I thought he was going to shoot that and found Russell for the easy one.
That was a really nice cut by Ethan Russell. He recognized everybody was going to the ball, and he cut through that open gap, and Malik found him.
6 points for Ethan Russell. Is Warner content just to bomb away tonight?
I think so. They got some shooters. They've got some shooters. Can they do it? Can they keep fresh legs to do it the whole game?
Kramer, first 3, fourth 3 for Warner, 19-14 Christian. Well, they stay within 5 here on the 3 ball. Aberdeen Christian getting just 1. That's to end the quarter with Brennan. So if they keep hitting 3s, this could be interesting. Brennan's feeling it. He wants another one. No, crashing
nice crash
is Connor.
to the board by Connor.
Lost it out of bounds. It stays, though, with Christian. Abe, Holscher, Jackson, Isaacson, Caden Clark coming back in. 5-point lead.
Got Jackson a couple minute rest there through the timeout and back in the game. He's got 2 fouls, though. He'll have to be careful.
Connor has
nice
the inbounds.
back cut by Jackson.
Oh, he almost blew the layup. It fell in.
Caden Clark with a beautiful pass. He's underrated in his assist game, his passing game. That was a beautiful cut by Jackson and looped it right over the top.
Another three in the corner. No, that's long by Bakeberg. Picked up by Ethan Russell. Boy, if they hit some more of these threes, this could be real interesting. Caden Clark feeds it out to Russell. He'll try another one.
Nice catch.
Finally.
Nice catch in motion. Nice setup by Caden. 2 assists in a row by Caden Clark.
Finally, the first three by Ethan after missing 3 in the right corner. It's a 10-point lead with that bucket, and 2 minutes into the second quarter. Hunter Kramer has 5. Jackson defending. He'll pull up for 3 and got it. 8 for Kramer. Trims the lead down to 7. Quickly, the Knights come back. Right to left on your television. Malik probing inside all the way to the hole. No, partially blocked, taken away. And Warner wanting to run, but maybe not. They want to slow it up a little bit here. Another 3 given. Sour wine. Nope. Jackson the rebound. Quick outlet. Malik, he has numbers. Will he take it, Dave?
You bet.
All the way in using, wait a second. Holy moly. I've never seen that.
It's a jump ball. Goes as a jump ball when it stops there.
That's very rare.
You couldn't do that if you're on a ladder.
No.
It is the only way you can do that.
It
or
had
one in a
glue on the
million.
basketball, Dave. So
I look for Christian to run like that. The best way to beat a zone is not let him get in it and get set up there quickly up the floor.
Holscher will trigger it into Malik Weaker coming off of 29. Goes reverse again nicely. He did that at the Corn Palace twice.
That was a nice move. Malik's been in the Corn Palace, took it to the hole a lot more than he did that the night before there at Summit, and it really paid dividends. I'd look to him to keep doing that.
26-17, Christian, here in the second quarter. Kramer locked up by Jackson. Isaacson will shoot over him for 3, won't go. And the rebound backside. Volleyball then picked up by Caden Clark.
Picked it up through contact, and Knights are ahead for a layup on the other end.
Another Malik Weaker layup. Well, you're right, Dave. They're just running. They don't want to get that zone set up. 11-point lead. They have not allowed them to even set up in the half court here in the past 2 or 3 possessions. So Kramer.
And that running is going to take its toll on Warner if you don't have the guys to keep the pace like the Knights do. Here we go again.
Yep. They just dish it out and keep coming at you. This time, Malik will take it out, throw it inside on a cut. Jackson.
You could see that coming a long ways away. Jackson just ran the floor, got the rebound, ran the floor right down the middle, and Malik hit him again. We call him Malik.
He was Malik Saturday night, wasn't he?
The announcers. I watched the replay of it.
Were they calling him Malik?
Malik, you bet.
My first game I did, I called him Malik. And I said to my son when we came back, I said, he was Malik. He was Malik Saturday night. You know what I'm saying?
He was.
Wow.
He was video game quality.
Kramer looking for a step back, shoots over the Knight defensive.
Forced up a poor shot because he thought he was going to get fouled. And
no whistle. Malik driving. Ethan Russell. He'll try the left side. Swish. 2 threes for Ethan.
Just like that, you force a timeout because you're running away with it.
12 of the 33 points from Ethan Russell. 3:23 to go in the first half, and we'll pause here as we stream live on HubCityRadio.com.
Got some birthdays in the house.
Schwarbach got after him, and what happened? Things went the other way.
He hasn't backed down. Did you watch again?
He's
intense.
He's back in full game mode.
3:15 to go. Warner needing something to stay in this here and
turning it over.
No.
You know, and the Knights are doing everything they've been doing, and look who their lineup is right now. They got just 2 starters on the floor.
Yep, the 3-headed monsters, the sophomores are out there right now. Joey, Connor. Here's Malik for 3-0, but net. Wow, smooth. Oh, man, that kid is just eye-appealing when he shoots, doesn't he? His first 3 here tonight. Drive inside and whistle.
Joey do a little contact on his man there and got called for a 2-shot foul.
You see a lot of shooters, Dave. I saw one where the release is straight in the air, and Malik's is out here a little bit, and some guys are back here, and Malik doesn't have the arch that some guys do, but his release point is, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's a different release point, and some of that is he's left-handed, and so it just looks a little different, but it is a little different release.
But despite that, I guess the end of the point here is, despite it being a little flat and it's a left-handed shot, it's just pretty. It's a pretty jump shot.
Yep.
His body control when he takes a shot, he did it at the Corn Palace. He went up, and in the air, he squared up and was, you know what I mean? He has that type of body control to square up in process. Here he comes again, trying to step back for 3, throws it off to Brennan. We're 2.5 minutes away here from halftime.
The zone didn't really work.
No.
Warner had to go back to man as Christian stretched it out here. And
Furman attacking baseline. Ball volleyball picked up by Ellis Russell. Back out to Malik Weaker, wanting a 3. Fresh shot clock, they can settle it down. Joey muscling inside, shooting off glass, no. Rebound loose again. Stick around here. We'll be chatting more about the Corn Palace game, me and Dave, in a couple of minutes. Instead of breaking for 10 minutes of dead air, we're going to hang around here and talk about that. So stay with us for that. All right, Dave.
Yeah, the Knights do pick up their 6th foul, so Warner will be in the bonus here the rest of the way. If you got anything you want to critique on it, would be their fouling. But again, Kramer's a penetrator. You're going to pick up some fouls. You saw that with Seiler the other night. He went to the free throw line a lot.
Furman is on Kramer now. 6 points. 8 points, rather, in the quarter for Warner is home. Driving is Sauerwein, trying to create hits off the glass.
Got away with a little contact there, pushing off with his arm, but banked that thing in from 10 feet.
Again, the Knights wanted to run. Malik atop the circle to Ethan, driving. Swinging back to Weaker. One hand scoop pass to Ethan Russell, another 3. That's off the mark to the right, no good. And rebounded by Warner with 1.5 minutes to go here in the second. Defense is back. Kramer wants the 3, goes into 15. No. Rebound offensively by Fishback. He'll put it up over Clark. That'll be short. Malik Weaker throws out the outlet to Andrew Brennan. Quickly, they are going down the court here. Here's Brennan driving in on Hunter Kramer. No, and a
dumb foul.
Reach in on Connor. I haven't seen him release like this, Dave, yet this year.
No, but they've been running kind of a sideline break where they push it up the sideline, and here the man released up the middle and hit him there. Kind of was in a tough spot. One of those places where you want to keep attacking, and for Brennan did, but probably would have been best to pull it back out there.
So free throws here for Hunter Kramer. 17 first place votes a couple of hours ago. You know who you were. You know who you are. You look in the mirror now and you just say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, man. I was wrong. Yeah, all the first place votes this time.
I think, after the state tournament and everything that White River's done, Ethan Russell working inside, he kind of got, they earned that number 1 to start the season, and until they do something to lose it, it was theirs.
Absolutely. Couple of shots missed. Here's Weaker for 3. No good. Rebound underneath. 47 seconds to go. 13 the lead. 36-23. Warner's playing hard, though, aren't they?
They are. Christian's at their best when they move the ball. In those last 2 or 3 possessions, it's kind of been I've got it. I think I'm going to shoot it, and instead of really working, getting a better shot. And I think you just see they've come up empty here for a little bit.
Final shot here to the Knights. 15 of the 23 on the board for Warner from long range. Their percentage may be 30-ish, maybe 30%. They've taken a lot.
They have.
But that's, if they're going to be in this game, they got to hit those threes.
Kramer really mugging Malik here, trying to keep the ball out of his hands for this last shot.
Malik gives to Brennan, 8 seconds. Weaving up to Jackson, 6 seconds. Now to Weaker with 4. He'll step back from 18, won't go. And the rebound by Warner, and that'll do it here in the first half. Stick around. We're just going to continue our conversation about Saturday night's basketball game and the huge win in the Corn Palace, and then the third quarter. So our halftime score here is 36-23. Aberdeen Christian, the number 1 Knights, undefeated, out in front by 13. Here streaming from hubcityradio.com at halftime. Halftime here in Warner, and now we have a chance, Dave, to talk about what happened over the weekend in the Corn Palace. I was there front and center. You were up a little higher. Let me just throw some words out to start it off here. You echo what I think here. Flawless was one. Intense. They were locked in. They were fearless. Dave, that was as good of a performance by any team I've seen in a long time, and that was as good of a performance by an Aberdeen Christian team in this run that I've seen. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I would. I mean, they played great defense against, arguably the best person in Class B, in all 3 classes, in Joe Seiler, and I mean, he got his points, but they played good team defense throughout that. I mean, he had a little better offense at times, then offensively just executed incredibly. It just was incredible. It was something to watch. And what's funny is that my wife and I talked about going to the game, and she said something like, I hate seeing them lose. And I said, I don't want to miss seeing them win. I think they're going to win. And,
Yeah.
Man, I would have cried if I would have missed that. And, we did sit up high to begin with, but we were right down, and we ended up being right in the front row over in the corner. So we sat ringside.
I couldn't believe it.
It was unbelievable.
I walked in there, and the DeSmit game, it was packed, and yet there were 3 seats right down in front of the court. And we got there, and from the moment they tipped off, Dave, I was just floored. I talked to Malik, give him the kind of the wink, and Jackson, and go get him, and you could tell these kids were locked in. And the first 3 shots fell. I said to Luke, they're going to blow these guys out. And I said, I'm not surprised they're going to win, and I won't be surprised if they beat them by 25, and that's exactly what they did.
That would have been a running clock if Joe Seiler wasn't Joe Seiler in that first half.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he was just incredible. And there was shot after shot that he had a hand in his face, and he leaned in, and the thing rattled around and went in. And, and that's it. I mean, I don't know what he had, 24 or something like that at the half.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't do that, I mean, it's just incredible.
It's a running clock.
And maybe the fact that he did, that helped Christian keep their foot on the pedal and not let up at all. But, I mean, it was just incredible.
And it's not like we were watching a game where you were thinking to yourself, well, White River's not playing very good. Joe Seiler's missing 10 in a row. That wasn't the case at all. It was a flat-out display of get out of our way. We're ready for this. We are coming, and we're going to destroy anybody who's in front of us. And, it was a State B atmosphere, wasn't it?
You bet. It was a big crowd. And it's not like the crowd was all about Aberdeen Christian and they were drawing a lot of energy from it. They just came out and took care of their business no matter what the environment was, but just shot the ball well. But, I watched the game back this morning, watched it with Sam, and he charged stats for Matt, and we knew some stats were screwy, for what they officially had, and assists being that. And we went back and charted it, and we had Christian in the mid-20s for assists, around 25 assists.
Wow.
And the shots that they took, I mean, they were not Joe Seiler isolation, watch me do what I do. They just broke White River down and got layups.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, they did make some 3-point shots, but they were a couple of them came out of a set play, come out of a timeout where they knew what they were going to do. They caught it in motion and knocked the shot down. And there were very few bad shots. In fact, they shot layup after layup in that third quarter when they broke it open. I think we charted they took eight shots that were just point blank with the guy behind them shots. I mean, you just don't miss those shots.
At Wabay,
especially when you're feeling it.
Yeah, at Wabay, Malik took a lot of tough, probably shots he should have taken. And his numbers were not very good. The shot selection for Malik Weaker Saturday night was brilliant. I mean, every shot was a good shot. And he was at one point, Dave, he hadn't missed until those maybe a layup or two at the end. And when he was doing that, I was like, no, pass the ball. You're 100%. He ended up missing, it was 12 of 15, 29 points, 23, 8 of 14 for Ethan. Jackson was 6 of 9 for 14, 71% as a team. And I texted you during the game. I said they got to be 65, 70%, and they were.
They were. In fact, I think they were 80-something in the third quarter. Oh, it was just incredible. But, the thing you mentioned Malik not being very good Thursday night, and at the same time Malik beat up Wabay's second best player and shut him down. I mean, and that's all he had to do. But to Malik's credit, I mean, I think he walked away from that game absolutely frustrated and said, "What do I have to do differently?" And I think he sought counsel and saw his coaches and. He's a film watcher.
Oh.
He's a film watcher, and he went into that game saying, "I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to do what I did in that James Valley game. I'm going to trust this new strength that I have and just take it to the hole and get something easy right away." And as soon as he did that and locked in, we know what kind of shooter he is.
Yeah, and he was on.
He just, I think things snapped for him. Kind of like after that Oaks game, some things snapped, for Coach Rohrbach and just some different things. I think that Wabay game, some things snapped for Malik that I need to do things different or just you understand who he is and what he can and can't do and it wasn't against an 0-8 team. It was against the number one team in the state.
Yeah. Well,
he looked like just amazing.
Speaking of that now, the Christian Knights were 2, but all the first place votes were going to White River. That's going to reverse. I mean, it's obviously they're number 1 until they prove otherwise, all the way to March, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
that's
a flip the script there now when the polls come out.
Yeah, and there was a lot of sports writers waiting for Matt after the game, and that's what they were talking about. That you're the new number 1 team, which is a matter of we have to make it official on Monday.
Does it feel to you like, Dave, over the course of the years, especially this team, there's something about this team. We've seen them at the arena. There's low energy because the crowd isn't there. When they're in a big setting with the crowd, in a big game with the big guns, they're made for that. They're made for the big stage, this club.
Yeah, I agree. I think the hardest games for them to play are like that Oaks game on a Saturday afternoon where the only people cheering for them are grandma and she doesn't cheer very loud.
Yeah.
And they go into in an away setting like Wabay Summit where there's a crowd there and it's not for them and they rally up and huddle up and say, let's go do this, and they play with a lot more energy. And maybe that'll change. I mean, that's something they'll learn as they go on, that they have to play with energy even if nobody's bringing it for them.
Well, still a long, long way to go. We're about 2 minutes away from the tip-off of the second half of Warner here tonight. But, boy, it was just, you said it earlier. The night before, I almost bowed out and did not go to this game. I was going to watch it on TV, and I'm so glad that we went down there and saw it, because for those of you that watched it on TV, that's great. But you had to be there to see it in person, right up close and personal. It just is a different deal to see it live than what you saw on TV. I got about 30 seconds, Dave.
Yeah, nothing more fun than sitting in a big crowd like that, and you're cheering for Abilene Christian, and people beside you say, what do you know about the school, and whatever else, and they're just there to watch good basketball.
Yeah.
And, it's fun to sit there and say, hey, this kid's going here to school, and this kid's going to go be a kicker at SJSU. That was a lot of fun.
It was. It was a great weekend. It was a great weekend. All right, Dave, let's get ready for the second half here of the Monarchs and the Christian Knights, and we'll pause here for a minute and be right back. Second half coming up. Game up on a 16-6 second quarter run. It'll be Warner basketball. Hunter Kramer has 8 points, a couple of threes in that first half. Let's see what happens here in this third quarter. Will the Knights knock them out, or will Warner stick around? Live and die by the three tonight. There's one to get it going by Bakeberg, and he has a couple of threes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threes. 18 of the 26 from long range. Isaacson knifing his way, hanging high, reversing from right to left and using glass. Nicely done.
Jackson has just improved that take it to the hole game this year. This just a different player. Knows kind of better when to attack. Warner traveled there, I think.
38-26 is our score. Just a minute. Wow, that he has. Malik and he both really are being aggressive going to the rim, aren't they?
They are.
Another three by Warner. No. Rebounded backside. Malik weaker.
And look at Warner quickly has two guys almost on the release are running the other way because they got to hustle and get back.
Weaker in and out of the rim. Rebounded by Saponiak. Still releasing and wanting to run here in Warner. Ball knocked away by Brennan. Stays with the Monarchs underneath.
A factor in this game that we really haven't talked about is this is game number 6 in 11 days. Wow. And two emotional games in a row before this that,
Yep.
If you're ever ripe for a letdown and to be fatigued, it would be tonight and tomorrow.
Little one-hand runner on the baseline by Bakeberg, rebounded by Isaacson, wanting to push the tempo again a little bit. As Brennett brings it down to the right side. Man for man after going to zone here for Warner. Caden Clark patiently looks across the defense, feeds Jackson, spins down the lane again, whistles blow. Oh my goodness, Dave, they called traveling on that one. I did not see it.
I didn't see it. Neither did the ref standing right by the ball, but the one all the way across the court did. So.
Yeah, that was a brilliant move. When Isaacson's coming at you and spinning, I just get out of the way, man. He's one big dude. Whistle again. 38-26, so chance here to trim it back to single digits. And they've been bombing from three. What do you think? They've made 6 or 7. They've taken at least 15 here tonight.
Taken a lot. They've made half a dozen, I bet.
Corner. Won't take it. Back up to Sauerwein. Bakeberg now. Kramer jabbing, shooting the three. Long, no good. Backside rebound.
Yeah,
Sauerwein.
He totally shed his man and threw him underneath there, Brennan, and Brennan had him boxed out, and he got a foul there.
Well, they've made 6, and if they've shot 12, that'd be 50%. I know that's not the case, so they're pushing 23s taken maybe, huh, Dave?
They've taken a lot. I start every game with you taking stats, and about the first quarter, I all of a sudden realize I quit writing them down, and then I just have to quit.
Weaker wide open, right corner, nothing but net and money. Sweet shot by Weaker again. Wow, just like he's just made for that.
Beautiful catch and shoot. Really a nice shot. Knights needed that too.
9 in the first half, now 12, and a couple of threes by Malik. 41-26 the score. Just underway here in the third quarter. Kramer tries to drive on Weaker. Left baseline. Sends it back out. Now a backdoor skip to Bakebird. He's in trouble. Throws it up off the window and gets it to go over Brennan.
Nice play.
Little guy has 8 off the bench. Or did he start? No, he's off the bench.
No, he's off the bench.
Triples come on Ethan. Weaker again. Oh, he hung. He was going to shoot. Wanted to get it into Caden. Caden had his back to the basketball. Turnover. And Sauerwein the other way, trying to muscle inside on Russell. Gets him in the air, shoots short. Rebound saved.
By Russell. And here we go running.
4 on 2 to Russell. Oh, he went up and lost it. Saved by Jackson. Weaker again. Here he comes down the lane, feeding. And a whistle.
Well, you know, Warner's kids are putting a lot of contact on Christian, and that was one I didn't think they were going to call that. And kid was kind of riding Malik all the way to the hole, and they called it.
Was Ethan going to jam that one?
I think he had visions of grandeur there just for a second.
Mm-hmm. Weaker tosses in, fresh shot clock.
Very capable.
Certainly. One bounce, step
Bingo.
back, another one. 3 threes in a row for Malik from dating back to the second quarter. 15 now.
2 in the same spot, too, right?
Yep.
Right on the same X.
Kramer drives into 14, little mid-range, one-handed no. Rebound, comes ahead quickly to Jackson.
Get out of his way.
Finds an open Russell, hesitates and drives into a double, feeds underneath into a crowd of Monarchs, and taken away by Hunter. Kramer. Foul on Christian. Well, it's not as flawless as Saturday night, is it?
No, it's not.
But it's not terrible, right?
It's not, but it's just a different style of game.
Yeah.
In that Saturday game, Christian just played White River style, and they took what they gave them and got great shots. This is a different style here.
Midway through.
More bumping and banging, switching back and forth from zone to man, just different.
Connor Furman in. He'll defend Saponiak. Kramer now, defended by Joey Johnson. Has it, won't shoot. Sauerwein rising. No, they can't buy one in the corners tonight here. Sauerwein the rebound and swatted out of bounds by Caden Clark. Cleanly.
Saponiak was looking for a foul, and he was trying to draw a lot of contact, and I think he was surprised that Caden just swatted it away.
Zachary Evans, a sophomore at 6'4", coming in for Schukart, who exits, 6'2" senior.
You know, I mentioned before Warner being a state champion playoff game team, and they're playing a physical brand of basketball here tonight. They're just, and Christian's holding their own against it.
Kramer driving, open man up top for the shot. Sauerwein, no. Got his own rebound, drives it in strongly, no, and rebounded by Furman. Taken away by the newcomer off the bench, Evans, and he misses 3 shots, no points.
I think that was blocked by Furman a little bit.
Big man driving, dishing. Isaacson underneath, point blank off glass.
You know, Jackson gets almost all his points right in the paint, right at the rim. He's a three-point shooter, but he's changed his game this year.
You're exactly right.
Cutting to the basket more, driving a little more.
10 points. Sauerwein drops in a 3. He's got 3 threes tonight. 15 is the margin. Well, these Monarchs in Region 1B are going to have something to say. If you look at Northwestern and Leola Frederick right there, but there's a lot of good teams in Region 1B now trying to make some noise. Everybody will have the crack at these guys. Shot no good inside by Clark, and here comes Warner. And tonight it's the Monarchs' turns. Leola Frederick already had a crack at it, and I assume Northwestern's on the schedule coming up.
You know, Warner plays quite a few teams here down the stretch that are winning ball clubs. If they want to be in that top tier, they're going to have to beat somebody who's got a winning record.
Running again, Weaker to the lane. Wow. 17 rather, unofficially on my books for Malik, coming off a 29-point performance in the Palace and now timeout. So the
Full
lead
timeout.
is the biggest tonight, Dave, at 17.
I think we've been at 18 a couple times, and every time Warner has responded at
It's right there at 17, though. We pause here again. 30-second break. 48-31. Aberdeen Christian out in front here from HubCityRadio.com. Right there, hold that. Ron, as you look courtside to Andrew Urbach and monster producer Brent Conger, Sam Palmer. Who am I missing there, Dave?
You got Andrew and
Becker.
Nehemiah Becker.
There it is. Some of the nights from years gone by.
You know, three of those guys were center court down in Mitchell in that game. They really brought a lot of energy to our boys.
They did.
They knew those guys were sitting there.
Yep.
Andrew was in the house. And they came right over and high-fived those guys as the game was over. They were glad to have them.
Absolutely. It was nice to see. So Monarch basketball, Rob and Dave courtside. Down by 17, though, here in the third quarter, and they throw it away. Well,
Man, how frustrating is it when you
Oh.
call a timeout, you want to stop a little
Whoa.
momentum, you want to come up with something, you draw something up, and you turn it over.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the other team comes out of timeout and says, let's do this, and they get a steal. So, I mean, you hate that as a coach to turn it over out of the timeout.
Joey out of the timeout with Connor.
There he
Ethan,
is.
Andrew, and Malik feeding Joey inside. Use his shoulder, I think, an offensive foul he does. Well, he bumped him to the ground, and it'll go the other way. We're going to talk about this a little bit in the fourth quarter, Dave. Me and you have talked about it. I've mentioned it, the DeSmit run over the years, and that's over with Kalen Gary. And while that was happening, these boys were putting together a run, and this last dance for this crew could be very, very similar to the DeSmit crew. I have numbers. Stay with me. We'll analyze those a little bit.
Poked away by Malik. He's going to take it all the way.
Here comes Weaker, gliding and hitting. 19 for Malik.
Really nice defense. He read the dribbler and just reached in and poked it away and took off.
9 in the first half, 10 in the second half. I don't know if 29 is a season high, career high for Malik the other night. Here's a three by Saponiak.
I think it was. You know, and you said, Malik, don't shoot at the end. I think he saw that 29 up on the board and those four boys over there telling him, get 30. And I think he would have had 100% if he wouldn't have saw that 29.
Block shot on the run is Sauerwein trying to go coast to coast, knocked out of bounds.
Saved by Connor Furman. Here we go.
Connor goes 4 up in the stands to save it. Malik, I think he wants a 3. He drives and dishes to Russell. He won't take it. Now reset it here with Weaker up top. Still wanting that 3. Back over to Russell. He'll cast from long range. Nothing but net.
Boom. Wow, you call a timeout to try to stop momentum, and you have 2 turnovers, a block shot, and Knights score 5 on you, and you're over a 20.
7 threes tonight, 7 Saturday night. And the lead is suddenly ballooned to just shy of 20. Hunter Kramer popping from mid-range using glass hitting.
Really a nice job by Andrew Rohrbach. I mean, he gave up, guy scores the bucket, but he's all about drawing contact, Hunter Kramer, and Andrew kept from bodying him and still put a hand up.
10 seconds, Brennan going to work, stepping back on a mid-range and popping it in. Andrew is, boy, he's important to this team, Dave. He really is.
He is, and he could score a lot more points if he didn't, if he thought he had to, and he really doesn't have to, but they need him to step up once in a while, and he really did a nice job there.
End of 3 here in Warner. Christian Knights rolling again. Undefeated, fourth quarter coming up. And a big commanding lead, 55-36, as we stream on HubCityRadio.com.
I was kind of very excited to see what the outcome of that game would be. I thought that would be closer than it would be.
Drive on the baseline, foul called, and also Northwestern losing to Groton on the road. That's the end of one. Is that right, Dave? The end of the first?
Yeah, 29 Groton put up in that first quarter.
14 Northwestern. Wow.
Oh, Warner plays physical basketball. You're going to go to the floor a few times, and it hasn't affected Christian's game.
Caden has the inbounds.
Got a bunch of football players too.
Yeah, Kramer's expending a lot of energy here tonight, just on the defensive end.
Yep. There we got Kramer Caden isolated. Nice bucket.
First bucket for Caden, using high glass, and he had to in that shot.
Yep. But that's the first time they really got him in a one-on-one situation in the post, and he scored.
Abe Holscher in here in the fourth quarter with Ellis Russell, Alec Caden, and Ethan Stay.
I think that's the first time the lead has been over 20, too.
I think so. 21. Air ball by Volk. Air ball back to Christian.
I don't know. Coach Orbach really coaching his boys up here. He
hasn't
not letting them just sit down.
Has not backed off the gas, has he?
You know, and it's not the 7th and 8th men either. It's his number 1 and 2, 3 guys. He's right in their face, not letting them make mistakes.
Alec goes baseline, blocked out of bounds. Last touched by the Knights. Back to Warner, and Jackson going to check in here for Malik. 19 points as he exits. 9 first half, 10 here second half. 3 threes on the night.
You know, Malik plays these big games. I don't think he sits, and this might be the first time he sat in a while.
Kramer between rings. Isaacson is there. Another 3. This from Sour Wine. Ice cold are the Monarchs from downtown. Rebounding foul. Fishback goes over the back, I believe.
It's kind of shielded there. I couldn't see.
Yeah.
I thought we were hanging on to his back. Somebody had a hold of him, but he went to the floor hard. But he obviously did something there to begin with.
Look at Matt.
He's not happy.
No. He's coming up, by the way, folks. Matthew Rohrbach will join us on the post game, so keep your stream on. No, you don't think so? Executive producer says no. Huh? Really short? Grab him right away. Maybe he'll come up. Abe Holscher, corner, left side. Drives in, mid-range. 13-footer good. A couple of baskets here by Abe tonight. 4 points. 59-36. And Kramer again faces Isaacson. So the energy is really waned off here in this fourth quarter to start it for the Monarchs specifically, I think, here. Sauerwein tries another 3. That is short, no good. Caden Clark collects it upstairs, and here they come running again. Caden pushing it, driving, back out to Ellis. Bounce it into Ethan. Squares up, shoots with the left hand, crawls and bites home. Tough shot.
Really a nice entry pass by Ellis. Not everybody can do that. You know, put it in, put a little English on it, put it right where the guy needs it in the pocket, and let his brother go to work. Another assist, brother to brother.
17 for Ethan Russell. Well, Dave, let's talk about the numbers a little bit as we're closing in on the 11th W. It talks about this run by this crew and where they sit right now after breaking through in the COVID year with Rohrbach's team, Andrew. They won 21 that year, came back to the title game against DeSmet, won 20. 7th place last year, won 21. This team could win more than those teams this year, possibly could even run the table. Follow me here, work with me.
Yeah.
I don't want to get anybody too excited. Here's a steal by Holscher. Looks at a long 3, won't take it. Now behind the back, right to left, driving it inside for another 13-foot mid-range, no good. And the rebound, Warner. Should they run the table, and I think it's entirely possible, this club would finish with 2 title games, 1 title, 87 wins, 12 losses. That's on the table right now.
That's incredible, and they missed out on that state tournament year where they didn't play it. They missed out on 3 games there too that
right
more than likely could have won 2 or 3.
Could be 90 wins, right?
Yep.
Possibly. So those are the numbers that are realistic, and if we compare that to the DeSmet, Kalen Gary 4-year run, amongst this 4-year run, that is 96-7. 3 title games, 2 titles. We had talked about that over the course of time last year and maybe the year, probably last year more than anything. 87-12 versus 96-7. How about DeSmit in the title game and a chance to go 25-0? Wouldn't that be a stamp?
That would be cool.
So
DeSmit, it's not like they really let down either.
No.
They got
Oh,
a really good club.
they
They're
just
rated
keep
number
coming.
3 in the state.
Yeah, unbelievable. Long three, Kramer no. And the Wilkinson younger brother, you saw him the other night. He's 6'7", and
he's
big
way
brother's
bigger than
6'10".
I am.
So
Yeah, big guys.
he's likely going to be 6'9" or 10 as well, right?
I would guess.
I'm sure they'll have players around him.
You know, that the buzz coming out of that game Saturday was Christian shot the ball so well. They shot it so well. You know, maybe they were just lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if Warner doesn't shoot, there's a nice drive by Andrew Brennan. Just makes it happen. If Warner doesn't shoot the 3 ball well tonight, what happens in this game?
Right.
I mean, this isn't even competitive, and it's a competitive game. They're working hard to 3. They're getting enough 3 balls to keep it close. Stretched to over 20 here, but
You know, we talk about the run from Andrew Rohrbach, COVID year, breaking through, right? What people maybe don't realize is from 2010 to 2018, 9 seasons before the run, as I call it, Christian was a 61% winning percentage basketball team, 114-74 over 9 years before they made it to elite status, like DeSmit and White River.
I can't remember the numbers, but I think Matthew's senior year, when he's playing for me, I think we had 18 wins, 17 or 18 wins.
Drive inside, stole away by Hunter Kramer. 3.5 to go here in Warner. 63-36. Kramer spinning, going reverse, traveling. So, you know, 114-74. So they were solid, always competing, and then, you know, they just went to the next level.
They did, and you'd have to look back in that and look at this class, this senior class out on the floor. You know, for Christian, the 4 years that they've had. I mean, it's just been incredible.
11-0 after this one tonight. Harriet Selby tomorrow night. We're back on, I guess, tomorrow night from the arena.
Yep.
Good take. And a block by Warner, Ethan Russell. We haven't shot a lot of free throws tonight. Have we shot any, Dave?
No.
Boy, just
I don't know.
limited.
I think Joey Johnson had an and one opportunity, but I don't think we really have. For as much contact as there is, Christian just scores so quickly, playing through the contact, that it really hasn't affected it.
No shots there. Just 5 team fouls on Warner, 4 on the Knights. Inbound to Caden Clark. Out to Malik. 19 and driving, feeding back to Clark. Skip it across to Jackson. He'll take it to the rim and go up, and that'll be the 5th team foul. 6th team foul on Warner. Non-shooting again.
That's the exact same action Coach Rohrbach ran coming out of a timeout when Saturday, where Caden skipped it across to Jackson in that
He's
corner.
wide open.
Usually he shoots that shot, and he didn't here this time.
They say Jackson was in the act of shooting a couple of shots here. Abe, Ellis, Joey, or Connor coming in. Ethan exiting. 17 for Ethan Russell. Andrew Brennan has 7. Abe Holscher 4. Joey has 2. Connor has a bucket as well. 1 of 2 from Jackson at the free throw line. And he has 11 in the ball game. So balanced scoring again here tonight. Coming off 87 on Saturday night. Now 63 in the books here tonight. Russell rebounded by Holscher, pushing it ahead to Connor Furman.
You know, that's a nice point total, but look at what their defense has done. They've
Exactly.
given up 36 points, and Warner shot the 3 ball well.
Now this Warner club is 6-4. It's not like they're on the doorstep on the bottom of Region 1B by any. They're Warner. This is Warner. Hunter Kramer driving in, hitting, hanging. Free throw coming. Look at the banners in this place.
You know, when we started our program, Warner kind of was our bullseye. If we could ever beat Warner, we would be somebody. We found, you know, it took us a long time, and
So that was
when we finally did, we were hopping, jumping, and screaming, and nothing's changed. They're still a tough out.
Yeah, always. Yep. Can't complete the 3-point play. Hunter Kramer step checking. He hit his first jump shot the other night. I believe ever, I was told. And it was nothing but net. Like,
Yep.
it was deep, too.
And I swear it was a three-pointer. I watched it back, and it looked
Yep.
like a three, and then I think they only gave him credit for a two for some reason.
63-38. Aberdeen Christian running away here in the third, starting the third out. The second, a 16-6 run. Hasn't been close since. And then running away here in the third and fourth quarter. Under 2 minutes to go. Straight away, Bakeberg. He's got a couple of threes. That won't fall. And the rebound goes out of bounds to Warner on the sideline. So Harriet Selby coming into the arena tomorrow night.
Another winning club, too.
Yep. More seed points available. So seed points tonight will be what, Dave? 47-ish?
I think that 47-ish, yeah.
Yeah. Right now, Knights
and that
lead.
can change. I mean, obviously it's based on your whole year,
Yeah.
not at the moment. I mean, they get it for the moment, but
For
that
the moment,
can change.
yeah. Blocked by Ellis. Joey with the block. I didn't see his headband. He had his back to me. So right now, in all of Class B, 3 no good. Aberdeen Christian has the highest seed points coming in. 46.7 coming in as Connor goes to the rim.
They do, and if they run the table, it's going to go up. They've got a couple of Class A winning basketball clubs that could be a 50-52 pointer.
Groton and Dale Rapids.
Yep.
Yep.
And they've got a couple teams that have losing records, but that'll hurt them in the conference games. But
And obviously now, Dave, the weekend and the number one rating, but really, it's not just to maintain it because we're number one. They want us, they want to be number one seeded if they get to March in the tournament.
You look at Class B, and there are 4 or 5 really good top tier teams. You do not want to be that fourth seeded team like we were last year, where you got to turn around and play you got to play 3 quality opponents. You want to kind of have that higher seed to get that 7-8 seed.
So we finish up the final minute. Malik Weaker with 19. Ethan Russell with 17. Jackson has 11 to lead the way. 7 from Brennan. Caden with the bucket inside. And we'll see you tomorrow night at the arena. Harriet Selby on our live stream. Where do they go from there, Dave? Do you know top of your head?
They have the rest of the week off, and then they've got another week of 3 games. Start with the Class A co-op of Eureka.
North Central.
North Central, yeah.
Yep. Abe for 3 long.
And then I think it's Northwestern on that Thursday.
Uh-huh.
And then that Del Rapids on Saturday. So 2 Class A schools that week.
More seed points available, as we talked about. They're not lacking in that department, but a chance to really push this up to some really, really high numbers. If they keep winning.
When you think about it, if Christian's going to win this game here tonight, if they can win that game tomorrow night against another winning club, that's 7 wins in 12 days in a 20-game season. I mean, that's more than a third of your games in a 12-day period, and in the middle of that, you beat the number 1 team in the state. You beat 2 teams that beat you in the state tournament the year before. I mean, they're loaded 2 weeks.
3-point play converted by Isaac Haft, senior.
Knights are going to hold them under 45. That's a big deal, right?
It is.
In that 40-point deal.
So our final here tonight, and we don't think we'll stick around for the postgame, will we, Executive? Probably not. We better get out of here. 64-41 is our final. Weaker leads the way with 19. Ethan Russell with 17. We'll see you again tomorrow night from the Civic Arena. The Knights are now 11-0, the number 1 team in Class B. All the first place votes, and that will not change. They'll go for their 12th straight win tomorrow night at the arena. Harriet Selby coming in. For Talmadge Econger, executive producer Dave Palmer, and mini producer up top on the camera, Rob Altman, saying good night from Warner.